And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Okay, folks, let's get ready for an exciting hour, and let me share with you what we're going to do. So those of you who currently are in the queue and on hold, you'll know that we will be taking your calls, and Al and Ed and Jerry and Harriet, I will be coming to you. We do have Robin Braig with us on the line, and we're talking about and we'll be sharing with you the repaving of the Daytona International Speedway. Robin, I want to welcome you at this time to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. It's great to have you back in the house again.
Well, thank you, Bobby. Always good to hear your voice. We enjoy listening to you back here in Daytona Beach, and it's a great time, a great summer to be here in Daytona, and I don't have anything going on at the track, so I got my feet kicked up and cracking a beer open.
Yeah, right. I'll bet you got your feet kicked up. You're probably on the way to work right now. When was the track built, Robin, and has it been repaved before?
You know, it was built, we just celebrated our 50th anniversary. It was built in 1957, and the first race was in 1958, and it was paved at that time with some wonderful handiwork by Bill France Sr. and that whole team. I just brought on Bobby Live. That's what you're hearing in the background. Let me get that off.
There you go.
And then in 1978, we laid another couple poles of asphalt on it. So it's been paved twice, but not for 32 years. So this is a long time coming. Most tracks won't last this long. We've taken great care of this track, and we have, of course, great Florida weather.
A quick question: are you changing the layout of the track at all?
No, and we're going to stay true to our wonderful history that we have at Daytona. That's as most people would agree that it's Mecca, it's hallowed ground. We've got a lot of records, and not only for NASCAR but sports cars, motorcycles, go-karts. We wouldn't want to change the dimensions of it at all.
You know, I've watched races, of course, there on site, Robin, and also on television. Wasn't there and aren't there, and will you be correcting any dips? Did number 3 or 4 turn had a little weird little dip in it? Am I off base there?
No, that's the tunnel turn. That's where the tunnel was put in, and the ground sunk some, and you know, that's the thing that our NASCAR drivers, Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they'll all tell you that's what they liked about our old racetrack. That those dips were unique. They broke up the drafting. They made it more of a driver's and a handler's track. So unfortunately, I asked the engineers, the asphalt engineers, if they could emulate that old track, and they kind of looked at me cross-eyed and said, you know, yeah, maybe you ought to stick to selling tickets. But so it will be. And this is the way I'm spinning it, or my team and I are spinning it, Bobby. It's going to be a new chapter in our track's history. It will be a different racetrack, and it'll be as flat as a pool table. It'll be very racy. Talladega, which is a similar type track to ours, 33-degree banking there. We have 31. And when it repaved recently, they had 88 lead changes in their first race. So we're hopeful that we're going to have that kind of racy track, but it's definitely going to be missing the old dips and everything else that came along with it.
We're talking with Robin Braig, president of the Daytona International Speedway. And Robin, I downloaded from your site and have it from a PDF file, the repaving project, and I'm looking and holding in my hand there's the use of a Caterpillar D9 bulldozer that supports the paver, another D8 bulldozer that supports the roller, and then there's a double steel drum roller and huge trucks, and I'm looking here at a link belt 60-ton hydraulic crane that supports a conveyor that feeds asphalt, and you're a 31-degree turn, so I could paint a picture for our listeners. You actually have a Caterpillar with a crane that keeps the paving machine from sliding downhill.
Oh, it's crazy. And you know what, Bobby? If you go back 52 years ago, the pictures with Bill Sr. standing out there with his hands on his hips and a big old cowboy hat on, managing the site looks just the same. The technology hasn't changed that much, and that is the only way to get it done. It's just the incredible high, 3-story high banking that we have, and to keep that pavement up on that hillside and make it as even as we possibly can. The technology has stood the test of time.
Folks, we're talking about 50 tons of asphalt to pave 1,435,000 square feet. Robin, that's 33 acres. What are you going to do with all this stuff that was pulled out?
Well, the first part, we took out with great care many of the turns and the start-finish line. We're submitting it to the Smithsonian, which will be exciting for us. There'll be chunks of it going to the NASCAR Hall of Fame as well as our own Daytona 500 Experience Museum. First dibs go to those folks that sat through the Daytona 500 this year and the crazy pothole problems that we had. And we think that they deserve the chunk. So when they renew their tickets, and most of them have, they'll get a free chunk of it. The rest of it's going starting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. If you buy a ticket to the Daytona 500, you'll get a nice mounted chunk of it. And then our great friends at Jostens, JOSTENS, Jostens.com, or if you log on to Daytona500.com, you can see all this. They're going to have some unique opportunities for race fans that want to get that in their collection. And, of course, we got a chunk saved for you too, Bobby.
Well, I thank you for that. I appreciate that. I will put that in my studio, and when I'm here in the center of the automotive universe, I'll be thinking about the center of the racing universe, which, of course, is Daytona, the Daytona International Speedway. I got to tell you, it's a huge project, and another file that you made available, and your team's done a great job, Robin, is a color-coded layout of the area, and you're also doing some, some beautification and reconstruction inside the pit area. Is that right?
Yeah, one of the things that NASCAR has asked us to do is to widen our pit road by 14 feet, and we're just going to go into the grass. That won't change the racing on the track, but there's no reason for us to have that kind of congestion in a very important race, the Daytona 500 or the Coke Zero 400. There's no reason to have congestion on pit road when we have plenty of room. So we're going to grab another lane for people to get in and out of the pits. We are going to make the actual pit stalls themselves out of concrete. As you know, Bobby, the cars drip a little bit of oil here and there, and oil and asphalt don't get along very well. So we're going to take the opportunity to fix our pit road, with widen it, and as well as the pit stalls themselves.
And what about the finish line? When are you going to, two things pop into my mind. When will the project be finished? And has anyone ever put together the numbers for a lap time for the paver?
I think somebody told me it's moving like 13 inches a minute or something. So I don't know what that boils down to, but our paving schedule, we're announcing January 1. We're certainly we're a little ahead of schedule because of the crazy heat that we've been having down here and no rain, which is good for, probably bad for our farming industry, but good for paving. So we're a little ahead of schedule. Hopefully December 1st. Our biggest concern is hurricane season. Last time we opened up this track was to put a tunnel in turn 1, and we got 3 hurricanes came through here. So we're keeping one eye on the weather, and we hope to be done by December 1st. Our friends at Goodyear have to get on that track. They have to build a new tire.
Yes.
6,000 tires for Speed Weeks 2011.
Unbelievable.
And we've got to get them on the track, as well as our motorcycle and sports car tire suppliers.
Yeah, that's going to be a race to get ready for all the races. In just a short time that we have left, Robin, again, how can our listeners get a piece of the track? Daytona500.com.
All of our tickets are on sale for Speed Weeks 2011, and there's also a live webcam on there, Bobby. They can watch and see how they can see that paver that you just described and watch us day to day.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. You said you were kicking back, but I heard in the background earlier you're a working guy just like everyone else. I know you got a lot going on. I want to thank you for taking the time with us today. And folks, if you have any questions, I'm sure that Robin will be listening. We're live there in Daytona. Robin, thanks again for joining us here on Car Clinic today. Always a pleasure to have you, sir.
You're welcome, Bobby. See you down the road.
See you. Take it easy. Drive safe.